Hello everyone, and welcome back to Demon Souls. Happy holidays and potentially happy new year, depending on what day I'm able to upload this, but 2022. But let's dive into the final stretch of Demon Souls. The King's Tower. Archstone of the Penetrator Demon. The King's Tower, once a symbol of Boletaria, stands ravaged by the claw marks of drakes, while silver-haired old King Allant sits on his crumbling throne, witness to desolation. Now, I've made a couple preparations before starting this recording. Notably, I switched my regenerator ring for the Herculean strength ring, so I could carry some arrows and a bow. And I also switched to Kite Shield since it still has 100% physical resistance and is a little bit lighter than a Night Shield. I'll get another one. But this here is the final depths of the castle of Boletaria. You can see here, before the colors fog completely rolled in and everyone lost their frickin' minds and turned into soul-hungry demons, that the soldiers managed to bring down one of the dragons that came with King Allant when he came back. Now, reason I switched to making sure I have a bow and arrows on backup is because we're going to be meeting some old friends. One in particular. Oh. And in a manner of speaking, that's what we're doing right here. These three red phantoms are it's a commonly held belief in the community who play these games and love dissecting the lore and stuff, like yours truly, that they are all the spirits of the prior bosses that we've killed. At least two of them are. This one is commonly believed to be the man that was the Penetrator, as he drops the penetrating sword. A long straight sword, once wielded by the Penetrator, one of Boletaria's great heroes. As the name suggests, this sword has powerful thrust attack, far heavier than any ordinary straight sword. Can only be wielded by those with high levels of both strength and dexterity. So, I do not meet the dexterity requirement. I am 4 below that, but I could wield it with strength, so. Now, the next one that I'm going to be focusing on is him right there. Who is most commonly believed to be the captain of the Phalanx, the first boss of Boletaria, as he wields a scraping spear. He's also wearing the birchwood armor set, which is yet another reason why I do not think the birchwood set you find by Executioner Meralda is from the Bior's twin fang equal god. His name is escaping me at this second, unfortunately. But I did talk about him a lot last episode. The guy who left the fog. And also, fuck this guy, because he's using the scraping spear, which is there to ruin your day. Every hit I take with it, I'm losing like 20 points durability to all my equipment or something like that. Notice my little red bars are ticking down every time he hits me with that fucking thing. Gotta get... Keep him with his back not against the wall. Maybe then I can get stabbed. There we go. He drops a tower shield because... guess they couldn't have him drop the penetrator, spear, the scraping spear. Mostly because, well... that's a weapon you have to use a boss soul for. And it'd be kind of... could feel kind of like cheating a little bit. And make holding onto that soul worthless. And actually using it to make the weapon. Now, this last one was not a boss. But, Astrava spoke, one point about all the people that his father helped bring together. And he said, like, one of the leaders of the tribes. I don't remember if he specifically said that if they were male or female, so... in particular, he was talking about the tribes of the Shrine of Storms that he held court with, who gave King Allant their respect, and I like to think this is her. Because she's using the white bow, which does a ton of damage. Because it has the longest range. So every time I get knocked by it, it hurts like hell. She's also no slouch. As soon as you get up close to her, she does a lot of damage with her curved sword there. Notice. You don't want to be in this woman's line of sight when she has that bow out. Top up. Notice how much she does with just one hit. It's insane. And, she can do Firestorm. She'll pull out, Catalyst and do Firestorm. Sometimes. She is the most dangerous of the three, red, black phantoms, whatever the hell they're called here. And obviously hard to fight and talk at the same time with her. If I can get a couple parries on her, she's dead, but she makes that difficult with how fast she swings. Case in point. Ugh. I've been playing a lot of Dragon's Dogma, so this is a hell of a thing to come back to and warm up with. Like, I just hit level cap in that game, so I've been playing an awful lot. Oh, thank goodness. Staggered to death. My good friend. I'd be using a white bow myself, but I do not have the dexterity to wield it, unfortunately. Didn't invest enough in that category. Behind this board here, there's a wizard. There is also one right past the dragon and right in the middle of this room here. Right when you spawn in from the Archstone over there. But hardly ever see it unless you know it's there beforehand. Since it's the end, I'm not sure why I'm bothering with them, but I'm something of a completionist. At least. Sort of. I'm the 75% completionist. Because there's no way in hell it's even possible to do everything in a single playthrough of this. Without a lot of potential time and effort, if it's even physically possible. Speaking to the whole dark and light world tendency thing specifically. Yeah, no, wait, it would be impossible. I just thought of a couple reasons why. But that's a spoiler for later. Finally up here, a red-eyed knight who, with a great sword, and, whew. I remember this well because, again, I played this game last year, and also, I had to run this a whole bunch when I initially played it on PS3, and I was still getting used to these games. I stayed before that. The order I played these games is I played Dark Souls 1 first, and then Demon Souls. So, and plus this game in particular has all of its little nuances in compared to Dark Souls. I mean, I love them, but I was not anywhere near as good as I would say I am today playing them, obviously. Blue-eyed Night Greaves, no point even looking at those, they're the same as ever. And now, when I say we're going to be meeting old friends, this one is specifically who I'm referring to. The old blue drake, dragon, wyvern, whatever they choose to call it. To me, it's a wyvern. I love how well they emphasize the bird aspects. It's got kind of waddle underneath. I mean, I went over this a little bit with the red dragon, and it's essentially the same model with a few tweaks here and there, but I love it. You know, if Sony or somebody would release figures, it'd be really cool to get both of these in King Allant or something. Like a little statue. Okay, just book it. Then we come on up here. Let's just take a nice look at this dragon. They kind of call back to this, whether it's intentional or not, a little bit more in the original Dark Souls. Because not only they have the red dragon, but they also have smaller blue ones. Technically it's a drake, but according to that game, but that shortcut there I just opened is to where the Blue-Eye Night Greaves were, and while we're pressed for time, I'll save that for after we deal with this.
You need some help? It's a firebreaker to me.
So, bring in a full salvo of kunai. Stand here. Pick your shots. It takes like 15 or so of these in order to start one poison cycle. As long as this thing is focused on Bior, it's in a very predictable pattern, and you can run past its fire breath relatively easily. Come on. Okay, now I've got that taken care of. Put on the longbow and some arrows. Probably should have done that beforehand. Hopefully Bior survives this, though it's not a big deal if he doesn't. Aim for the point just above the claw there. And depending on how good of a bow and what arrows you're using, it'll take more or less time. Plus your stats, etc. These are only doing like, I don't know, 20 something per hit. But the poison will do like 1,000 damage on its own. And much like the red one, this is going to be really boring to watch and talk over, so I will cut and see you on the other side. And goodbye to you. Large-scaled flame demon soul. And hey, Bior survived. We'll say hi to him in a minute. Let's just do a little inventory maintenance. Don't know why that's here. Large-scaled flame demon soul. The soul of the azure drake demon, a source of enormous power. Don't need that.
You need some help? Leave the fire breather to me. May light shine upon my lord, for Boletaria!
So his dialogue has to play for standing next to him long enough to hear this while he's being flamed to death. Now, can actually talk to him and
We managed, did we? That salamander was more trouble than expected. Now, you go on ahead. You know me. I need a nap. That swooping monstrosity was quite a drain on me.
rest up, Bior, you've earned it. For whatever reason, and I have no idea why, but if he survives this, he doesn't go back to Nexus. He decides to go back to his cell and sleep. Knight Shield and Knight Sword right there. So, I'm gonna put the Educator Shield in, and then the Knight Shield in. Oop. Send the Kite one back to inventory. Storage, rather. So, in the original version, right here was just, I'm pretty sure it was just a wall, but here they had this little walkway and this ladder, so that you can have a nice little shortcut here. Oh, should probably put on that regenerator ring. There we go. Ooh. And down here, pretty sure it's just souls. I barely ever bother with it. Yeah, souls, and then of course, whatever the hell the fat officials are gonna drop. But in this first section here, if you're willing to take all the time it requires, you can use a bow here and shoot the dragon's face, and when it goes down to 50%, it will fly up there automatically instead of staying here and breathing fire at you. Of course, you can also use magic. Probably does more damage, especially if you're a sorcerer type build. But since I normally don't touch magic that much, I always go with the bow. And of course, like the red one, it is now permanently dead. Something I appreciate always being able to do, just delete the problem. And even more souls. Because if he's not focusing on BR, it will also, or she, rather, I forgot which already, I'm pretty sure I believe the blue is female, but she will also be breathing her flames down this path right here. If she's not focused on him, and is just focused on you. And another old friend, Ostrava, at the end of his quest line.
Oh, it's you, is it? My father is up above. Not something like him anyway. A demon in his shape. I began this quest to ask my father his reasons. To drag him back to the path of righteousness. But it seems it was all in vain. Please, kill my father. In his depraved state, he can only bring peril to these lands. This key opens Boletaria's mausoleum. Inside the mausoleum lies Father's sword, the demon brand, twin of Soul brand. Use it to bring an end to his madness.
Good night, sweet prince. Quite literally in this case. Mausoleum key. Carved agamatolite key. Agamatolite key? Never had to say that out loud before. Opens the Boletarian royal family mausoleum. We will take care of that after the final boss. Speaking too soon, there is poor Prince Ostrava's black-red phantom. Obviously, he died, and not very peacefully, given everything that he just told us. And since he has the rune sword and shield, he's doing magic damage with every swing, so if you don't have any magic resistance on your shield or whatever, it's gonna shred you. Thankfully, this has, like, a little bit on it. More so than the Knight or the Kite Shield. So, at least it's doing some protection. Plus, the regeneration is helpful. Also, backstabs. He's making that a little too easy. Give me a second to heal, please. He's going through his warrior within phase. And in case you missed in Latria, that drops his rune shield and rune sword. Don't need them though. And up we go. Now this is a detail. I don't know if it was here on the PS3 version because I never looked and I didn't notice it until I played this version. So I'm not 100% sure if it existed beforehand, but there's some dreglings here operating these gears for this lever that's going to send us up to the final boss encounter with old King Allant. It's a great attention to detail. Again, I'm not sure if it was there on the PS3 version. I don't remember it being there, but I also didn't look, so either way, I appreciate it, and it reminds me a bit of Dark Souls 1. There's a spot in Blight Town that has a elevator that shows you how it's working. I won't spoil it now because it's a very fun thing to see. And now we've reached the top of the inner sanctum, the throne room of old King Allant. He who brought the colorless fog and dragons in tow to these once great lands. Old King Allant, wielding the soul brand, that which kills man. Ooh. Now, this move, get as far away as humanly possible. It has an enormous range. Ooh, and that will drain a whole level. Ooh, jeez. Now, this boss isn't particularly hard, at least in comparison to all the games that have come after it, but he hits really hard. Especially when you're only half paying attention. Now, I want to take a moment to talk about his design here. He has these, they had him in the original, but I find them a lot more easily visible here, but he has these large, ethereal, sort of like a wings, cape, mantle sort of deal coming off of him, made out of the colorless fog. He has this really nice royal armor, which is essentially what you wear from the deluxe edition of this game. And it's styled in such a way that it is almost an exact match for the armor worn by the main character of a From Software game called Shadow Tower on PlayStation 1. At the end of that game, just since the main character, like, he basically gets his demon crown and he uses the power within it to become a conqueror of lands and stuff. And he's wearing armor that is very much almost identical to this. And old King Allant here is like something like 10 12th, 13th in line with his own name, so he's many generations removed. So in my personal headcanon, I like to think that the main character of Shadow Teller, he came and conquered this area, and then when he settled down, had his family, and then started the line that would eventually lead to King Allant and Boletaria and everything like that. That's just personal headcanon. I wouldn't, like, if I was to be honest and say if that was ever intended, I'd say absolutely not, because it's completely different directors. I'm sure there's not even a whole lot of overlap in staff probably on that, but it feels like it's an unintended homage at best. Like how people try to canon or make some weird abstract argument for why they think Demon Souls and Dark Souls take place in the same universe, even though they are very clearly do not. And it's been literally stated as such. It's something I like to imagine. It's not something I'll believe and do mental gymnastics to justify. Yeah, just get out of range where you can't lock onto him anymore, and you should be okay with that. His music's great, his design's great, his moves are cool. For me, that is the one problem move. Cause see how far it goes. It killed me quite a bit in the PS3 release. See? It takes up nearly almost half of his throne room. And especially if you have nowhere to go, you've backed yourself into a corner and he starts using that, you're kind of screwed. Oh no. And he's almost dead already. Good night, Demon King? Question mark? Before we touch that, let's try to see if we can get a decent view of, yeah, not really, unfortunately. But it's kind of neat to envision he was, sort of watching your progress through Boletaria as the game progressed. From up here, seeing you as his Slayer of Demons.
How did you defeat my demonic reflection? How many souls might you have devoured, I wonder? The rest is up to the Old One. If it is to be, then you shall be beckoned.